Now I'll be honest with everyone, this video will be a bit different from the recent ones I've been uploading, and that's mainly since I barely caught any fish on this trip. But this didn't really bother me since there's just so much to do in one of the most beautiful coastal areas of Florida, and maybe one of the most beautiful in the entire country. So without further ado, let's go ahead and relive this adventure. The early bird gets the worm, and in this case, we got a beautiful sunrise to feast our eyes with. We also brought the drone out to get an even better view, and it did not disappoint. We also got to see some awesome wildlife on their morning routines, like this beautiful manta ray. These are the largest rays in the world with wingspans reaching up to almost 30 feet and weighing as much as 4,000 pounds. This one was probably just a juvenile though. We were also able to capture this hammerhead shark on a morning stroll. What a beauty. Check out this pair of devil rays enjoying a nice dance. Our next stop was a #1 beach in the USA, and I say that literally. This beach has been ranked #1 in US beaches for many years, and sometimes even the top 10 in the world. This is Siesta Beach. As with most beaches in Florida's Gulf Coast, Siesta Beach is riddled with white sandy beaches and clear turquoise waters. However, the sand here is made up of about 99% pure quartz, giving it its iconic color and powdery texture. The white quartz sand is great at reflecting sunlight, so the sand stays cool in the summer and the water an extra blue color from the light reflecting back. We're here in Siesta Beach. Let's see what we can get. As per usual, I tried my luck at fishing, but it seemed like all I was doing was practicing my cast since nothing was biting. I was, however, catching a tan as well as these cool sand dollars. Sand dollars are a species of sea urchin, and like other kinds of urchins, they do have spines, but a lot smaller. They are also filter feeders, so they eat algae, plankton, and other organic matter, which helps cleanse the water. When they die, their spines fall off and their exoskeleton gets left behind, giving them that iconic white color and brittle texture. Here is one that was alive. Live sand dollars have a darker color and have tiny flexible spines which help them move. As with all the live ones we found, I let this one go. Here's a cool conch I found right after. And here's a nice cockle shell with a few barnacles on it. Check out that awesome rainbow from that spontaneous storm behind us. Storms can appear out of nowhere in any Florida summer day, so we kept our eye to the sky and those clouds behind us. But in the meantime, we kept looking for treasures. Check out this cool olive shell, which I threw back in the water as soon as I saw its resident was still inside. Now thankfully that storm did not hit us, and we were able to stay at the beach long enough for me to try my luck at fishing once again. And that's a big emphasis on try, since I once again caught no fish, not even a bite was given. However, I did continue to find sand dollars. These were all over this beach.
That's very nice.
The sunset that evening was a gorgeous one without a doubt. The fact that Siesta Key is on the west coast of Florida means you can get sunsets of this caliber. What better way to end an eventful day than with a sunset like this? Later that night, I went to the bay side of the island to try and catch some fish. And thankfully, I did end up catching, even if it was only these catfish. Check out these gaff-top silk catfish, or silk catfish for short. They went crazy for the cut shrimp and squid that was left over. I also caught these hardhead catfish that couldn't resist the shrimp and squid on the line. And it looks like they had a needlefish friend who was mad at me for catching them. Just look at how that guy attacked me.
Whoa, whoa. Oh no. A needlefish.
Anyways, I think hardhead catfish look a lot like freshwater channel catfish. And, like all fish caught that night, they were released back safely.
Bye-bye.
These stone crabs were also going crazy for the shrimp that kept falling. The next day, it was off to another beach day as the weather looked pristine so far. Emphasis on the so far. But before, it was off to the restaurants and shops of St. Armand Circle. This place is a good place for shopping as well as getting some good food. Now, as you can tell, I didn't take many videos of this place or the food that was eaten, but I still recommend visiting if you're in the area. Now that stomachs were full, it was off to the next adventure, which was a beach, of course. And this time, the target beach would be Turtle Beach, which is located at the southern end of Siesta Key. The sand at Turtle Beach wasn't as wide as the sand in Siesta Beach, but the beach was still beautiful and had the same turquoise waters. Also, take note of those clear skies. Since the beach was a bit crowded, I waited to start fishing and went straight to start looking for treasures again. Right away, I noticed this beach had a lot more variety in what was under the water. Like this dead coral stone, for example. And this cool turkey wing shell. Check out this pen shell and its iridescent color. Seeing some this complete is rare thanks to how fragile they are. More dead coral stone. This was probably part of a coral reef at some point and maybe housed some fish. Now, as we were all picking up things from the ocean floor, we were also unknowingly digging up food for a well-known fish who started to follow us. Yes, these are sheep's head, and we ended up with a crowd of them hanging around waiting to eat any food we may have accidentally dug up with the shells. Sheep's head are known for feeding on crustaceans or mollusks, and they were probably waiting for any we may have disturbed while bringing up these shells. Here's a couple of sheep's head looking for food. Now these were just juveniles, but sheep's head can get to an average weight of 3 to 6 pounds, and sometimes even reaching up to 20 pounds. And while the fish kept gathering around, I picked up a few more fine conch shells before heading back to grab my rod. So, remember how I mentioned to take note of those clear skies? Well, my fishing plans were quickly changed as soon as I saw what those clear skies turned to. That right there is classic Florida summer weather for you. Everyone left the beach shortly after this, yet the storm still caught up to us thanks to the traffic from everyone leaving at once. Check out the sand dollar collection on the windshield reflection. With a few hours still left in the day, we drove north away from the storm and hopefully to get to catch some fish. First, I started fishing an inlet in Anna Maria Island, and this is what I kept catching. Just seaweed. Catching only seaweed and other storm debris was kind of a bummer, So I switched spots over to the beach behind the inlet. That way, if I didn't catch fish again, at least I would have a nice sunset view. Sure enough, that sunset was absolutely mesmerizing, and it almost made not catching any fish completely fine. This is what it's all about. I always appreciate the beauty of the places which fishing takes you, even if you don't catch any fish. Just as everyone was leaving the beach, I hit a buzzer beater and actually caught something.
There's no way.
It was yet another hardhead catfish. I could not seem to get away from catching these. The next day began the same as the previous, with clear skies and plans to visit a nearby beach again. This time the target was Anna Maria Island, and the mission remained fishing as well as looking for treasures. But as you can see, Mother Nature had other plans. I still thought that it was worth a try, and off into the storm we went fishing.
So here we are fishing in a Florida storm. There you have it. Might have to go hide out for this one.
At this point, my rod started crackling, and I did not want to get struck by lightning, so I decided to head back to the beach for a bit. After riding out the storm under a lifeguard stand, we all continued the fishing mission. But the fruits of our mission would only have us catching these. These are portly spider crabs, and as the name states, these crabs look like spiders, only these guys hang out in shallow, muddy marine environments. You can find them all across the Gulf, and from Nova Scotia, Canada, all the way to the Florida Keys.
Awesome.
We also got a visit from a curious manatee. Only very few people caught fish on the pier that day, but I know for a fact that everyone was having a good time, and I know for a fact that everyone was in awe of this sunset as well. Like all previous days on this Florida trip, the Florida sky started showing off. If you've made it this far, thank you guys for watching. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more adventures. Till next time.